We started doing the DEXA scan back in, was it end of September or else like the first part of October? Anyways, I don't know if I told you, but I scheduled my next DEXA scan for like, I think it's next. It's like, I don't know what is today, 14th. So yeah, my birthday. Yeah, so it's in 11 days, and so we're gonna get a glimpse at how my body's changed in the past 6 months. Obviously, for the first time in my life, I've been doing all the things that I want to do 7 days a week, for months on end. And really the things that I've been doing are closely connected to the 5 categories that Peter talks about. And so I'm just so curious to see how has my body changed, for starters, and then also just get a closer look at my longevity score. Like, how is it? Like, when I first did that test back in September, my L score, I'm just going to refer to it as L score, but longevity score, L score, whatever, same thing. But my L score was 83. And so they say the average for everyone's average, if you take it, the average population, the L score is 78. So I was aging at that time 5 years slower than the average person. And then since then, I've been uploading little bits of data like resting heart rate and so on. And like my resting heart rate has come down a little bit. And my L score improved by 3 years from when I first measured. Obviously, I didn't have all the data at that time. But now my L score is 86. And, they say like, another thing Peter says is like, he's like, you can get your body to age 20 years slower than your actual age. And so, if average is 78, in a perfect world, you could get your L score to 98 or 100. And so it's like, okay, so this is possible. And also on the app that I have for measuring the DEXA, it kind of has like this little artificial intelligence section of it, which I should just kind of, I should post, I'm going to post about it more, but you can play with these metrics where if you increase your VO2 max is like the biggest determining factor in just your body's ability to heal and health span, longevity. Essentially, VO2 max is the most contributing factor in this whole thing, health span and longevity. It basically reducing aging, and so it shows like if I have an L score, longevity score of 86, and I improve my VO2 max to like say, 70 milliliters of oxygen per kilogram of body weight per minute, I essentially gain like 10 years of longevity, which essentially means if you get your body extremely, which is 70 is like really, really high VO2 max score. And, I have some goals that I'm going to work towards with my VO2 max, but if you can get to 70, like Lance Armstrong's, his VO2 max was like super high. And I think I shouldn't even say the numbers. I don't know what it is for sure off the top of my head, but anyways, he had a super high VO2 max. And the idea is like the higher your VO2 max. So mine right now is like in the 50s. It's like between 50 and 60. I've been, kind of roughly estimating it. His is 85, yeah. And he's had a really, that's, so 85, so think about this. He's getting 85 milliliters of oxygen per kilogram of body weight per minute into his bloodstream. I don't know how heavy he is. What's his body weight? You should see if you can pull it up. But I did the math on mine, and I'm pulling in basically like 5.5 liters of oxygen.
165.
He's 165. Divide that by 2.2. What does that get you? 165 divided by 2.2. I think that's the conversion from 75? Yes, that sounds right. So 75 kilograms. So take 75 times 85. What is that?
6,375.
So 6,375. Now you divide that by 1,000, you're at 6.375 liters of oxygen into his bloodstream per minute. Okay, so he's 165, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
I weigh 225 pounds right now. My body is way bigger than his. My lungs are way bigger than his. And I'm putting almost a liter less of oxygen into my bloodstream per minute. So he's putting a liter more almost a full liter more, probably a full liter more of oxygen into his body, which is much smaller than mine. Just think about how oxygenated his cell is. Like that's how efficient his body is. It's just incredible. Like he's able to get that much oxygen into his body in a minute. I'm 225, 230, somewhere in there, and I can get like 5.5 liters. I have almost 60 pounds of body weight on him, and I'm putting less oxygen into my body than he is. So it just goes to show you how big of a difference VO2 max can be from person to person. And I think there's like I don't know if you search like average VO2 max is like 30s or 40s. I'm not sure what it is for an average person, but the point is this score VO2 max can be dramatically improved, and you can dramatically improve your body's ability to get oxygen into the cell. And the more you get oxygen into the cell, essentially your cell is able to do its job better, which is healing, repairing, generating energy, all that stuff. ATP, like your body's essentially able to work better. The more oxygen you get into the cell, you're able to work, everything works better. And so that's like the primary metric for just health span, or it's the most contributing factor of the 5 to improving your health span. And then the other 4 are obviously super important. Like, how do you measure emotional? Like, that one's probably a little bit more tricky to measure specifically. Body fat's super easy to measure with DEXA scan. Lean mass is super easy to measure with DEXA scan. Your sleep is now becoming super easy to measure with these wearables. And so I'm so curious, and actually oh my gosh, I'm doing a blood test too, same day on my birthday, and we're gonna do blood test in the morning and then DEXA around like middle of the day, and then also I haven't quite scheduled the VO2 max, but it's gonna be sometime that week. I'm not gonna do all of them on the same day. I'm kind of curious I don't know how much blood they're gonna draw, but I want to see how much blood they draw, and then do that first, and then maybe it's a week or 2 later I do a VO2 max once I feel like I'm totally fresh and ready. And then that'll basically be the information that I'm going to use to measure my progress year after year for the next 3 decades. Like, I have some things that I'm really, really working pretty aggressively. I don't know if that's the right word, aggressively, but I'm pushing pretty intensely on a few things for the next like 3 to 5 years. And then from there, it's, I obviously have kind of some goals and curiosity over the next decade or 2 decades. Where can I know for a fact I haven't peaked yet. I'm almost 33. And so I'm like super curious. Long time ago, I was, and this is kind of what's so interesting about all this stuff is like, for the longest time, and I don't know if it's been 5 years or 10 years, I've sort of like in my head, like, I know I'll be stronger at 50 than I am at 25. And actually, as a matter of fact, like years ago, I was having like an argument or a discussion or a debate with friends, and I said, like, for sure, and I don't know if I was 20 or 25, or I wouldn't have been over 25, but I said, without a doubt, I'll be stronger at 50 than I am today. And like, they all thought it was hilarious. And it's like, now the science shows that that's totally possible. Like, for sure, you can continue to progress. And we don't really know where the peak is. Like, maybe it's somewhere in your 40s, but if I was 25 or even 20 or 23, I was strong. I was strong then. I was lifting a lot then, but like last year, the 4th of July, that was the strongest I've ever been in my life. I tested squat, bench, deadlift, pull up, and overhead press. And without a doubt, that was the strongest I've ever been. I mean, I've never scored as high as I did on all four of those numbers. And then 2 months later to do an Ironman. So it's like at 32 and a half, I was way stronger than I was at 25. Now I'm 30, almost 33, and I'm not quite as strong as I was then. You know, obviously after the Ironman, there was a lot of things that didn't, you know, I made plenty of mistakes transitioning from powerlifting into Ironman in 2 months. Probably shouldn't do it, you know. And so I would say after the Ironman, I mean, from the Ironman till the end of the year, like I was not that good. And actually, um,
You were going down.
I was going down for sure. I was trending downward. Like, and if I would have continued on that trend, my friends would have been right. Like, I would have been weaker at 50 than I was at 25. Like, that for sure would have happened. And January or the end of the year, first of the year, somewhere around January 1st, Julie and I took some pictures because I said, like, there's just a lot of things with my nutrition. It was all nutrition related at that time. I was having issues, and it was all because of how I rushed into the Ironman and I tried to just muscle through it. Not a good idea, anyways. My body was basically just rejecting everything I was trying to do. It was like fighting. It was like I felt like I was fighting myself. It was kind of weird because like I was super strong July 4th, and then I jump all into cardio and just nonstop cardio, and it's like everything that I was doing before is totally changed, and it's just too much stress. It was too much stress. It didn't, Ironman went just fine, but I was really, really stressed out. The gut was super stressed after the Ironman, and anyway, so we took those pictures, and I was shocked. I was blown away at how poor my physique had gotten in a short period of time. I was like, this is like startling. It can't be that bad, and then you see a picture and it's like, whoa, yeah, things are definitely needing some work. And that's kind of where like the switch just flipped for me. I was like, I'm just done doing anything at less than perfection in terms of nutrition. Like I just started with nutrition. I was like, done. We're on vacation, like whatever. There's plenty of junk food to go around on vacation. And I just decided then and there, I think it was like the first or halfway through the first, I said, I'm done. I'm just done. And I stopped. I didn't eat any more junk food on the vacation. We were still down there for like 4 days or something. And it wasn't easy, but I was like, this is what I have to do to take myself to the next level where I want to go, where I know I can go, that I haven't been going. Everyone has kind of this. I think we all know, kind of, that there is a potential that we can reach, and I think also we all kind of know, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing today to be moving myself closer to that potential or not? And for me, I wasn't. And it's like this thing that always just lives with you. And it's like, I'm 32, I have kids. What if I don't do this today and that just continues? And what if I never do it? Like I started thinking about that. I'm like, I could so easily slip into this routine or rut of just like going through the motions, and like a decade goes by and 2 decades goes by, and I still haven't done the thing I know I'm supposed to do. I kept thinking about that all the time. Like, I'm like, I don't have time to be wasting anymore. Like, today matters so much. And now, like April 14th, now that I started on the 1st, and it's been over 100 days of just not letting myself slip, not letting anything go, like nothing. Perfect nutrition, training 2 days now for like 60-ish days, roughly. Like, I just want to tell myself, like, it's so, so worth it. And I will never stop. Like, I don't know. it's like every week, it's almost like every week I gain just a little bit more momentum. And it's like you see that momentum and you feel it. And it just makes, I don't know, like I'm just, how do you measure happiness? But I feel like my happiness keeps increasing. You know, it's like week after week. And I don't know what it is, but it's like, is it just because like you're finally holding the promises that you've wanted to keep to yourself for a long time, and now you're doing it every single day, and like you're everything's paying attention to it, and you're just like, this is how I'm supposed to be doing my day, and I don't know. And then
They always say self confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself.
100%,
So you just
1000%,
keep
you
those up, you're gonna
you
feel
keep, oh my gosh, like that's so true, and it just gives me chills right now because like, you know, for the longest time, like I wasn't doing it. And like now, you know, now doing it, it's like anyone can do it. You just literally have to start with the smallest little thing. Like for me, it was just like, it's just, I just for today, like I started halfway through that day. I think I started like noon. And I said, just for the rest of the day, I'm not breaking on my nutrition. And then I didn't break on it for like the next 8 hours, 10 hours. And then you wake up and it's like, hey, I have 10 hours of momentum plus 8 hours of sleep, 18 hours of momentum. And I was like, I'm just going to keep going for today, that day. And then eventually you have 2 days. And it's like, oh, I think I can do a third day. And then eventually that turns into a week. And now it's been over 100 days. And it's like, after 100 days, it's almost like you hardly really think about it anymore. It just happens. It's just become so natural. And and that's where I've really kind of started to realize, like, I've heard people say like the difference between, you know, having the quality of life or the life that you want and the one that you're currently living. Like they say, it's just like this little tiny little, it's just, you know, a little, it's hardly anything. And I think like that's so true. It's just the littlest tiny decisions that you make every single day. It kind of creates like this it creates a, I don't know what you call it, like a, it just creates some sort of like belief system within yourself, or like some sort of just how do you do everything. And now it's like I'm taking that into every single part of my life, you know, my business, my family, my marriage, the relationships with every single person I interact with. Like I don't walk past a piece of garbage anymore. Like I just, if some, like I don't care what it is I'm doing. If I'm almost all the way done and something's not right, like I just do it right now. And it's like when you start to do that, it's like it just carries so much momentum into everything you do. And um it's just got me really, really excited and so optimistic to push for the next long, long while. And especially now that we have kind of like, this is the blueprint that we need for fitness, for health span, to make our bodies run the way they're supposed to run. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's so exciting to think like, where can you push, you know, where can you push your life essentially? Like, that's the question I wonder is like, you know, we're here for like a dot in time, and I've just kind of started to like really live with urgency. Like every single day matters.